Are you ready?
Join on the corner where the big boys play.
Hey, and how is it going, you beautiful, beautiful people out in the interweb, the World Wide Web? Kevin Colby here on another edition of a little show we call Ask StreamYard. Or if you're like the hashtag kind of person, hashtag Ask StreamYard. The reason I throw that out is because we like to dive into questions that you all are asking on social media. It doesn't matter where. So, like, for example, we're going to get into the question today about headphones. And no, I'm not wearing headphones, and I'll explain why. I have them right here. But what we like to do is, like, when there's questions that are coming up in the StreamYard community or anywhere on the World Wide Web, and people are like, hey, you know, I've got this question. Well, if you think it's like a really question that, like, hey, look, I really want you guys to cover this, then use hashtag Ask StreamYard wherever you ask the question on the Facebook group. And by the way, if you're not in the Facebook group, you really, really should be. I'm going to put this up right now. We have a phenomenal StreamYard Facebook community on Facebook. That's a little redundant, I just realized. You ought to join there. It's free. It's no charge. But it's you find a lot of great things there. But like I was saying, if you ever have a question anywhere, just use hashtag Ask StreamYard. And if we feature your question on an upcoming episode of Ask StreamYard, you're going to get some swag. I've got a new mic, so I've got to figure out how to get behind it. But anyway, sporting this. So we are so excited that you guys are here today. Let's see who's checking. By the way, make sure you check in and say, hey, I love to. One of the things I got to tell you, one of the things I love about live streaming is well, first of all, it's live. You screw up, it's out there for the whole World Wide Web to see. But, you know, that's part of it, right? But I love the fact that you can connect with people all over the world. Like, I'm in the United States on the East Coast. Let's see where we got some people checking in from now. We got Cargo On. Hello, how's it going there? Richard Black, good morning. Good morning to you too. Don't know where you're from. It's right at noon here. Happy Wednesday, Jazzy K. Ward. Happy Wednesday to you. Anik, that's close. It's Kevin. Funny story. Friend of my family growing up when I was a little kid. My name was pronounced Kevin, right? And they used to call me Caven. I still love him. Absolutely. Absolutely love them. Chasing Sunshine by Veronica. Hi there. Let me see who else we got here in there. Raja. Hey, how's it going, dude? And we got Richard is in Birmingham, Alabama. Kevin Linville, good friend on Twitter. We pop in a lot. Good morning from Northwest Washington. All right, so glad you guys are here today. And by the way, if at any point today you have a question specifically about what we're talking about, put a Q on it when you drop it in the comments. And since I'm solo producing, which, by the way, do you? Let me know in the comments right now if you live stream, if you have a show or a live stream, and if you have a producer or you're a solo producer like I am. I'd love to see who out there is kind of a one-person show. The other person that hosts Ask StreamYard is Mel, and she was on, a couple of weeks ago, we did it together, and that was a blast because we could, pop in and out of comments and things like that. So that's why a lot of times we'll say, if you have a question about what we're talking about today, put a Q on it. As I'm scrolling through, it gives me a better shot. Oh my word. Hello from Italy. Wow, that is really cool. We got Cereal, I think that is right, from the Philippines. Who else? Who else we got here? All right, so we got a lot of. I need to get that one. We got a lot of solo. So Pete says solo producer. Odd, checking in from East Africa. Good to see you, Solo. Solo. We got one question in there. Is it Milda? I will try and get to that in just a bit. So help me with that. Puerto Rico, Saudi Arabia, solo. So we got a lot of solo producers in the house. You know how it is. I mean, you're trying to juggle things. If you would ever like to see more behind the scenes of how our setups are, I'd love to do that. I'd love to do that in a separate video. I've posted some things like that on my channel, Kevin Colby. But, like right now, I use one monitor. In fact, I generally tilt it back just a tad. I use one monitor. It's a monitor I can move around. I've got my notes up and things like that. So good to see from you guys. Let me jump into our question today, which set up the whole thing. It comes from Teresa M. Odom Surgic. Teresa, I actually practiced your name before this. So here was our question. When I have guests, do I need headphones since I have speakers that I can hear through? Thanks so much for everyone. Okay, first of all, that is a fantastic question. And for Teresa asking that, she's going to get a StreamYard t-shirt or some kind of swag, whatever the StreamYard swag people send you. But Teresa, thank you for that. So the question is, let me just bring it up again because it's a really good question. When I have guests, do I need headphones since I can hear them through the speaker? So I kind of want to split this up today a little bit about talking about the need for headphones because again, if you notice, I don't have mine on. I do have two pair, and we're going to talk about these in a little bit. I've got this pair, and even though these are wireless, there is a wire here, right here. I just decided to take it off so I didn't like whack myself in the in the face. And then I've got these, and these are the ones I typically use, and they're they're a challenge to put on, but when you get them on, they're great. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but let me give you part of the answer that doesn't involve guests. So like Teresa was asking, like when she has guests on or she's doing an interview, and this would also apply to what I believe would be like even a co-host or something, is that if you're just live streaming like this, I don't think you need headphones. Now, again, this is how I roll. Because when I'm playing the music, like when I was playing the countdown a second ago, I love this about StreamYard, because of the way the countdown was loaded, it mutes my mic. So I don't have to do anything. So I also have my speakers on the other. So here's your first little tip today. All right, you ready? So, and I don't have my second camera set up. I apologize, I can't show you. But if you can imagine, here's my camera and my computer. Actually, wait a minute. It's off. I was going to show you. Let me do something quickly, because I think if I do this, I can fire up my other camera. Well, now it says, okay, there we go. Now it's working. So let me quickly show you my other camera. There we go. This thing is not set up and it's kind of blown out. But what was that? Oh, my speakers, you can't really see from that angle, but there's one right here. So if you notice where my mic is, right? You notice where my mic is, where my camera is and monitor. The speakers are far enough back and turned down low. So that's how a lot of times, if I'm just going solo, I just don't wear the headphones. Now, I'm just sharing that because I wanted to show you kind of an idea, excuse me, of how my monitor, my speakers, they're small, they're down, they're low back. So because I'm not worried about feedback, in fact, even one of the other cool features in StreamYard is that you can share a video, not just a file. You can share a video. You don't have to upload. and you're not going to get feedback that way. So, if you're wondering, do you need to wear headphones when you're live streaming just solo? If you're not doing an interview, if you don't have a guest host, I would say no. That's strictly up to you. Now, there's nothing wrong with it. So true story. I don't know why everything I'm telling you is true, unless I say this is not a true story, it's made up. But I was in radio for years and then got into television for a lot longer. So, in radio, you're always wearing headphones, always some kind of headphones. Most of the time they're headphones like this. In fact, the last station I was at, I got back into the radio a couple of years ago, and it was a great station. I love the folks and still do a lot of things with them. But they were like, oh yeah, we're not going to provide your headphones. You need to bring your own headphones. I'm like, okay. And I actually had these that I'd gotten from the Steve Harvey show. Is that even still on? The Steve Harvey show. And the cord was I'm on the East Coast. It would have probably touched the West Coast. It was that long. It was very obnoxious. It was always getting in the way. But the reason you're always wearing headphones in radio is because you've got to hear the mix. So the worst thing that can happen is you're playing a song and you're talking over the intro and you can't hear it. So you want to do that mix, much like a DJ would, like at a party or something like that. You see, they're always doing that because they're hearing the mix and they're queuing things up. Jump forward to television, and there was a bit when I was on TV and I had what's called an IFB. I can't tell you what it stands for. I should know, but I don't remember. But basically, it was something that they molded it to your ear, and you would put it on your ear, and it was kind of clear, kind of like these. Notice these are clear. They may look white, but they're not. They're clear. That's why a lot of times when I wear these on live streams, people can't see them. But the thing about the IFB is, if you're on air, a producer could talk to you in your ear, so they could say, "Hey, we need to go to the next guest," or "I need you to shorten this segment." Or you could also hear the end of stories. So it'd be like, oh, here's somebody with this story or whatever. So that's kind of a background of where it comes from. So if you're just solo streaming like I am a lot of times, and if I don't have a guest on, like for example, later today, I'll be talking to Ross Brand, who's written this amazing book about live streaming and digital media. I will use my headphones then. I'll use these because I'm going to be interviewing him and I want to hear him, which leads to some of the reasons why. So what's one of the reasons that you would want to wear headphones when you're interviewing people? Well, one reason is it eliminates feedback. Now, I'm not talking about the kind of feedback like, Kevin, have you thought about maybe a different conditioner? Not that kind of feedback. I'm talking about, and yes, I have, by the way, I'm talking about feedback that you're going to get. So for example, if we go back to Teresa's question, do I need headphones since I have speakers I can hear them through? So here's the potential issue. And let me know if this has happened to you, where you're watching an interview and when the other person starts talking, you hear an echo. You hear, not like maybe the mic feeding back, but you hear more of an echo. Well, that's because a lot of times they're not wearing headphones, your guests. I hope your co-host would be. And then your sound is coming through their speakers, and then you're picking that back up, and it creates kind of this loop. So that's why you're getting the feedback. So by wearing headphones when you're live streaming with a guest or a co-host, what you can do is you can basically monitor your speaker through your headphone. Now, I know that sounds very basic, but that's what really happens. So like, I can plug into my laptop. I can plug into, I just picked up the new Elgato Wave XLR because for this new mic. And if I were using my headphones right now, I would plug right into that. And so what it's doing is bringing all the sound into here. And that is a key point in wearing them because, yeah, you can hear them through the speakers. I'm going to show you something kind of cool here in a second. You can hear them through the speakers, but you risk feedback. Now, if you remember a second ago, I kind of showed you, because I cheat. I cheat sometimes. If I don't have my headphones on and I haven't thrown them on, I just forget it or whatever. I have my speakers far enough back, turned down low. But here's the thing. If I can't hear my interviewer, like, again, when I'm talking to Ross, if I say, hey, Ross, why'd you write the book? And he says something, I'm like, what? I can't hear you because I've got my speaker turned down. Then it creates a bad listening experience, if you will. Want to jump in. Somebody's asking, what about echo being so low? So let me know right now. Do you hear any echo at all? I mean, hopefully again, this is a brand new mic. I tried it out yesterday. It's the Rode Pod mic. I'll save you the trouble of asking what mic you're using. But when you're just like this, now, if you're in a controlled environment, I mean, this is my office / studio, and no, it's not completely soundproof. I have some soundproofing over here. I've got a noisy fan. We just had the AC changed, and in a minute it'll probably kick on and sound like a wind tunnel. I apologize. John is saying no, he hears no echo. So when you're like this, you're not going to hear echo because there's nothing. It just cut on. There's nothing playing. It's when you have some other sound going on. In fact, if I play a video clip right now, I don't have one, it'll mute my mic, which again, you control when you're uploading. So great question. Here's another reason. Here's an absolutely another reason. Why is that? To consider wearing headphones. And this would probably apply whether you have a guest or not, is it eliminates distractions. I don't know about you, but I've never been diagnosed officially with, what is it, ADD, ADHD, but I'm pretty sure I have it. It's not hard to do the squirrel. So if you are live streaming, again, I'm in a very controlled environment. My door is shut. My wife is here, but she's downstairs with our little one. So I'm not live streaming at, say a church service or in an event or out in the mall or somewhere where it's so noisy. But even if you're a solo streamer, a solo producer, a solo content creator, you may find that by wearing headphones or earbuds, it helps you focus and it helps you cut out the distractions. Because I will tell you this. If you've never worn headphones at all, if you've been on mic, if you used a microphone and you've never used headphones, like say you podcast or something, or you're starting a podcast, this was something I had to get used to when I got into radio, because what's happening is, when we're talking like this, the sound I hear coming from here, but it's kind of, the sound is all from your voice is all around you. But all of a sudden, if it's concentrated in your ears, and there was no delay, if there's a delay, you need to get something else. It sounds different. I've got friends that are DJs and they hate the sound of their own voice. So it is something to consider, that if you want to get maybe a little bit more focused on your presentation, on what you're doing, headphones may be the way to go. Kevin saying so many of us baby boomers weren't diagnosed with ADHD. Yep, I agree. So I'm going to hop in before I've got another tip for you, and I'm going to give me 1 second to see. Hopefully, I don't miss any of your questions. Remember, if you have one, somebody's actually saying what brand mine are. I will show you that in just a minute. Hopefully, I don't miss a question. If I do, I apologize. By the way, in case you ask a question and I miss it, on the replay, add it in the comments, because we go back and we read the comments and we'll reply. There was one a few weeks ago. Somebody asked about my camera, and so we went back and responded. So if you happen to ask a question today and I miss it, I apologize. Just go back and ask there. So Tim Stanley saying, my guest on the live yesterday had very low audio, and I couldn't figure out how to turn up his volume. Actually, you can turn up his volume, but that is, and Tim, you may have done this, and this is probably a whole different topic, but that's why it's very important to have your guests come on early. Now, for example, like when I'm interviewing Ross later today, you know, Ross Brand is a live streaming pro and expert and strategist. In fact, you've seen him all over StreamYard. And, you know, Ross is going to have it dialed in. But even then I said, hey, can you pop on about 10 minutes before? If I have a guest on the show that's never been on before, I will send them a list of things to do. It could be very well that they couldn't control their mic. Tim, I don't know. Did they have a mic that came off their earphone, their earbuds? You know, that's one of those things that could have happened. Not really sure, but that is something to think about. Question. So does the guest also need to wear headphones? That is recommended, but I'm going to show you a little trick here in just a second that will help you. So it's always recommended if you're doing an interview or you're doing a co-host is that you at least ask them. That's why you've probably seen the shows where people will have the what do they call them? The earbuds. They're not earbuds, but whatever comes with the iPhone. I can't wear them. Full disclosure, my little eardrum holes here are small enough, so I have to do something different. But that's why you'll see people wearing that. So yes, to answer your question, it is better if your guests wear headphones, and then that way that can help turn it down. I would also, though, recommend you do that too. Now, if they don't have headphones, they don't have headphones. So let me give you another reason, because you can hear what's happening. So if you go back to the analogy I used about radio, now that one maybe is not a great analogy, because if you don't have, if I don't know that mix, then that's an issue. But it allows you to hear what's going on. Now, I would also say, yeah, Kristen, I will try and find Valerie's question. You know, even if I'm just solo producing, an advantage of wearing headphones is I can hear the mix. I can hear things, because even now with the way StreamYard has allowed us to share a video. Remember, not only just share a screen, you can share a video. I can then control volume. Well, it's a lot easier if I can hear it and I'm controlling it in here. Again, you know, if you've ever done any music mixing, you know, if any of you guys out there are music producers or even podcasting or editing, you know, sometimes when I'm doing a project, maybe for a client, and I've got to get the audio mix just right, I'll get it to a point and then I'll wear headphones because it'll always sound different here. So that's another reason to do that. So let me try and find. Okay, so the question is, I've been experiencing awful feedback from my guests and they are wearing headphones. How do I resolve this? That is a great question. So one thing I want to make sure, and this is kind of the little tip I wanted to show you. So let me show you this right here. So in StreamYard, I don't know if you knew this, but in StreamYard, there's a setting. Actually, I need to go to it. When you go here, this is what it's gonna look like. Under audio. So if you go to your settings, now it depends on how you go there, but if you go and you see general, go down to audio. And what you're going to see is this right here, echo cancellation. So hopefully you can see that. Yep. So if you hover over it, it'll tell you, it says important, do not turn this off unless you have a high quality microphone. Now, you know, this microphone, the Rode Pod mic, is a really great mic. And it's a dynamic mic. So it means, you know, the closer I get to it, it's going to be better. But, you know, you have to decide. I mean, I have a Samsung Q2U that's $70. So it's not expensive, but it's a great mic. So, but do not turn this off unless you have a high quality microphone and are wearing headphones or don't have any guests. This setting enables audio processing and features like echo cancellation, I can't talk, noise suppression, and auto gain control. So, you know, that might, I don't know if that answered your question exactly. And I want to get Valerie, but It could be that because one, your guests weren't wearing headsets. And then two, did you have echo cancellation off? I always leave mine on. Always. I just, because it there's so many things that it can do for you. In fact, right now, and this has to do more with microphones. In fact, let me show you. Do I have it? Yeah, right here. And and this is a preference thing, but the other setting that I do is this right here. Automatically adjust mic volume. So, this to me is a cool feature that's in there that by leaving those two on. So what I would say, and Christian's in there now. Did the guest also have echo cancellation on? So that could matter too. Make sure that in a perfect world, your guest has headphones on. If they have headphones on, they probably could turn their speakers down unless they have their headphones going through their speakers. And then that may be their volume. Test ahead of time. And then also make sure in your StreamYard setting, I want to show this one more time, that you want to go right here and you want to make sure it's always going to be right here under audio. You'll always find it. Echo cancellation. I would always leave that on. And in fact, the next time you stream on StreamYard, if you're not sure, just go there and see, because that would help. Those are the reasons. So now let's talk about the kinds of headphones. So there's a couple of kinds. These are typically called over the ear because, don't get ahead of me, they go over the ear. Now, as I said a second ago, messing my hair up. As I said a second ago, these are wireless. I don't use this. So which kind of brings me to a bonus tip, if you will. If you have the option and you're going to wear headphones, and I think you should, if you have a guest or a co-host. So let's just put that out there. You can get around it, but you're risking things. But here's the bonus tip within a tip. When you're using headphones or earbuds or whatever, I would always go with wired. Now, again, I'm showing you this and you're going, well, Kevin, you're saying these are wireless. Right. But if I were using these, I'd plug this in. Now, here's the kicker. This cord is like crazy short. So I actually had to go on Amazon and buy not an extension cord, a longer cord, just so I could move, because I was so tied to the monitor. The reason I would go wired over wireless is because wireless just introduces a lot more problems. I mean, my mic is an XLR going in to a USB. My camera has a battery on it. It's an AC power adapter. My light is wired. Even my internet is hardwired. As much as you can go. So I'm just saying, I know there's a lot of cool headsets out there, a lot of cool earbuds and things like that are wireless. I think you're always taking a chance, because if that wireless goes out or you get interference, wired always wins, that you're taking a huge chance that that's going to just really screw up your whole show. And again, things happen when we're live streaming. This isn't about doing the most perfect live stream ever, but it's about controlling the things you can control. So, and Dybex and Bluetooth is not recommended. Yeah, I would put Bluetooth up there with wireless. I mean, I think you're introducing potential problems. So these are over the ear. Now, and this is a style thing, okay? I'm not going to say to you that over the ear looks bad. I had a client that asked me that. Now, he did have the gamer set, and he was talking to some big time clients himself, and he asked me about it, and I said, here's the deal. It really comes down to what you like. I personally, no offense to anybody out there that wears it, I always think of like the drive-through person that's got the headset, and the thing, if they're live streaming. Now, I realize there's different reasons to wear it. I realize it's convenient. It's a mic built into your headset. Got it. And if you're a gamer, good for you. I play the Nintendo, not the Wii. What's the new one? The new Nintendo. I've got that one. I'm not a big gamer, but I am somewhat a gamer. But, you know, this is a certain look. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. What I prefer is what I call InEar. Now, I know there's a third category called OnEar. To me, it's kind of where we're talking about splitting hairs. But these are Me's. It's technically MEE M6 earbuds. And I love these things because what they do is, I'm going to show you. I usually take my glasses off. You plug them in. I always plug them in the wrong way. You pop them in your ear, and they wrap over your ear. See, I knew this. I knew I would always. Okay. What a great demonstration, right? They also go behind your back, which is another reason I like them. So what you do is you pop them in, and then it kind of wraps. And this wire right here. Now, again, I'm not trying to sell you these. I mean, these are the ones I use. But when I tell you the price, and then what happens is you pop this one in, and the same thing is going to happen. And there's a clip in the back that I can't ever get to. And then because there's a wire right here, I can pull it right there. And then look, it's like you can't see them. Now, right now, my headphone is not plugged in. So I just hear this crazy like echo. I could plug it in, but I'm not going to. But again, it drops down the back. And you can use this for a cord. Here's the reason I like these is because you can see them, and I'm not trying to fool anybody, but to me, they just don't get in the way. I like the fact that they come down my back. Here's the kicker. And these are called I think M6 earbuds. These things are like $16. $16, and they are phenomenal. Yeah, somebody's saying they love those. Now, here's the cool thing. So if you have decided, Christian, can we show how to turn a volume up on a guest? I think so. Let me see. It should be down here. So let me get out of. Oh, let me go to my screen. Let me go to here. So when you have a guest in here, now I don't have one right here, right? But right in here, you're going to have an audio control, and you can literally there's a little slider right there. It's very easy to use, and that's how you can control the other person's audio. So I hope that answered your question. And Anna Field's question, Christian, if you're on, can you find that question for me? Would you mind? I don't see it. Anfield asked a question. That's not it. Oh, here we go. I use Bluetooth all the time and have no problems. And you know what? Here's the thing, guys. If you're using wireless and it works, that's fine. If you're using Bluetooth all the time and it works, that's fine. Bluetooth works completely different than wireless. Completely. A lot of times you won't, and I'm not going to pretend to be an expert here, you won't get the same issues that you have with Bluetooth that you may have with wireless. You know, and I probably should back up. When I said wireless, these are actually Bluetooth. These are Bose ones I got on sale at Best Buy a couple of years ago. They're phenomenal headsets. So remember a second ago when I was talking about, do you have many guests on with you? All right. I don't think that was the question though. So when I was talking about mixing, so if I'm mixing audio to send to, well, not even just a client, I just want to hear my mix on YouTube or something like that. I've got a lot. I'll put these on, still wired, so I can hear the mix here because they're really good. So when I said wireless earlier, I misspoke. These are actually Bluetooth. Bluetooth is, I mean, if you're going to go Bluetooth or wireless, I'd always go Bluetooth, but occasionally things don't pair. I've had issues with these, and these are really nice not pairing. These are these Me earbuds are wired. You just, as somebody said earlier, you can't go wrong with wired. Now, here's something that I think is pretty cool, and I wanted to share with you. So if you're wondering what kind of headphones to buy, like it's like, okay, Kevin, I'm going to get some headphones. I'm going to get something like that. You've convinced me. Well, guess what? We've put together an article. It's on StreamYard called The Best Headphones for Live Streaming. And it's a lot of different kinds. They talk about them. They also talk about some of the things we've talked about today about, over the ear, in the ear, on the ear. But there's a link. There should be a link down in the description. And if not, we'll make sure we get that in a few minutes. And then I would encourage you to read that because it'll help you maybe try and find the headphones. And yes, there are gaming headphones on there. And guys, if you're a gamer, great. And actually, it was pretty cool. And if you use that kind of headset, that's fine. Here's my recommendation. This is just Kevin. I would not. If you've got what I'm going to call a gamer headset, you know what I'm talking about? It's you put it on and it's got the mic here. If you've got those, oh yeah, Christian StreamYard just put this up. There's the link. We'll also put the link down in the description, especially on YouTube, wherever you're seeing this. It's a great article. There it is right there. But my recommendation to you is this, is that if, let me go back here, is that if you have a pair of headsets that you like, stick with them. Stick with them. I wouldn't go buy these just because I use them and like them. I can tell you, they're phenomenal. I mean, they're just great. And that's how I will use them. So yeah. Somebody's saying, Comment Star Weekly, I like earbuds. They're easy to hide paired with a desktop mic that has a phone jack, a headphone jack. Yep. And that's great. I mean, I saw somebody earlier in the chat mention the Blue Yeti mics. One of the things I like about most of the Blue Yeti mics, I've got an older one back there somewhere, is that you can plug the mic in right to the base. And that's nice. Now, this mic is an XLR mic. So it has no mic port, but I could plug into the Elgato Wave XLR I'm using. I could plug into some speakers and things like that. You have to figure it out. Now, you may have to go into your computer and change your input and output settings. So know that. That's why I'm a huge fan, a huge believer, a big proponent, and a doer of do a run through before you live stream. Doesn't mean you won't have any problems. It's just something to think about. So what have we talked about today? What have we talked about today? Somebody saying, what about Bluetooth headphones with mic? Again, check out the article. Check out the article we were mentioning. I think some of those may be in there, but they list a ton of these. There is a link in the description to this. But some of the things that we talked about, why wear earphones when you're live streaming, especially if you have guests or a co-host. It eliminates feedback, meaning literally the nastiness of hearing the other person. Actually, it's probably you coming through their speakers creating the feedback. That's one reason. It eliminates distractions. If it helps you get focused, I mean, there's nothing like hearing your own voice in your head. I'm sorry. You know what I mean, right? Hearing your own voice in your head to eliminate distractions. And then you get to hear what's happening. Again, I put this like if you're doing a lot of mixing and things like that. In fact, let's say you do music mixing and then you're thinking about live streaming. You're probably wearing headphones at some point of some kind to get that mix right. So those are some of the things that I think we've talked about. And the types of headphones. Now, I know there's a third category. I just kind of go with these. Is over the ear, in the ear. And keep in mind, over the ear are simply things that go over your ear. These are Bose. You don't need something that crazy expensive. And again, I got these on sale. You've got in the ear, something like this that actually goes in your ear. That's what I prefer because I'm just using it to monitor someone, right? And then echo cancellation. Yeah, somebody's saying, so like if you're the only one streaming and have no guests but want to play a video, it could introduce potential feedback. Yeah, it could. It could. And that is a great point about wearing headphones is, and again, the more you live stream, the more you get, I think, comfortable with that. And the reason I threw out echo cancellation, and I want to show you this one more time because I think it's really important, and it's a feature of StreamYard, is echo cancellation is right there. So, you know, again, I mentioned that right here as one of our options. So no, echo cancellation is not a type of headphone, but if you don't have any headphones, you don't have the budget, you just don't want to buy them or whatever, then you can use the echo cancellation feature in StreamYard and you just turn it on. In fact, I would highly recommend leaving it on all the time. All the time. I really hope this helped you. And again, if you have a question ever that you would like to consider, you know, well, first of all, if you ever have a question, always ask it. Ask it when the live is over. If you have a question about any of this, make sure you ask it in the comments. Join the Facebook group. It is a fantastic Facebook group to learn a lot about live streaming too. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel because we are cranking out a crazy amount of shows and videos all about live streaming, doing more with live streaming, helping you get the most out of live streaming so you can make money and promote your business and all of that. So I really hope this helped. Hey, look at that. We've got our featured questionnaire saying it helped. You're going to get some swag. Thank you for your question, Teresa. That was a fantastic question. Yes. And anytime you've got questions, you can always ask in the Facebook group. Use the hashtag Ask StreamYard, and that way we can better kind of, you know, aggregate those questions. And if we use yours on the show or anything like that, you never know. We might give you something if we use it. Actually, we probably will give you something. So, hey, I hope this has been fantastic for you. I've enjoyed being with you guys. Great questions, great comments as always. And there's no better time to live stream than right now. So make sure you check out StreamYard. If you are not a StreamYard customer, there's never a better time to check it out than now. Always a way just to try it out for free. See if you like it, get into it, do some upgrades. I am Kevin Colby. Mel will be here next week with another edition of Ask StreamYard. I'm Kevin Colby. You have a great today.